Very lovely to see you. I'm going to show you how to make a banana souffle. The first thing to say is we need to make the banana coulis first because that actually then needs to cool down. Then we'll prepare the ramekins, do the egg whites, fold everything through and shove them in the oven. So for the coulis, we have 200 grams of banana that go in. I also have, I've got to look at the recipe for this one, I have got 35 grams of sugar, 100 grams of full fat milk, so in that goes. We're doing 4, so this is for a quantity of 4. I've got the juice of 1 lemon and 22.5 grams of corn flour. Sorry for looking at the recipe, but I wanted to make sure I got it right. Stick that on, blitz it up. There we go. That's going to go straight into the pan, and we're going to heat that through just to, 2 minutes, just to get a bit of heat in there and reduce it down. And then, of course, once we've heated it up, we need to let it cool down a bit. So I'm just going to move a few things around whilst we're waiting for that to happen, because now I'm going to show you how to prepare the ramekins, which is pretty simple. But it's amazing how many times people get this wrong. Very lightly grease the ramekin so you can barely see the butter. I'm actually going to make 4 for this. What you don't want are big lumps of butter anywhere, because that's going to stop the souffle from rising. It'll get stuck on the butter. So I'm just going to work any fat that I have in any of the other ramekins to ensure that these are just greasy rather than buttery, if that makes sense. And the final one. Now the cooking process here is coming along nicely. Keep that moving. So the concept is once the ramekins are nicely buttered, you can add the sugar. So I'm going to put the sugar in and I'm going to just tip it all the way around the sides, just to make sure that when we put the mix in, it doesn't stick to the sides. And if the butter isn't lumpy, then it's not going to prevent the souffle from rising. So I'll do that one more time. Right, so I'm very happy with the texture of the banana, so I'm just going to leave that to one side to cool down. And whilst I do that, we are going to whisk the egg whites and the sugar. So I've got about 125 grams of egg white, about 4, and I'm just going to whisk that up, and then I'm going to add 30 grams of caster sugar at about a sort of 2/3 point, just as they're beginning to come together. So now I'm adding sugar. I'm quite happy with that texture. You should be able to sort of tip it upside down like that. And the next step is fold it into the banana mixture. I have the banana mixture, or coulis, which I have now completely cooled down, and I'm going to put that in the bowl. And I'm going to mix the whites in just to loosen the mixture up. And then what will happen is I'll start to fold in the balance, and then we'll fill the ramekins and we're going to stick them in the oven. We're actually only going to cook them off one at a time because we're doing some photo shoots as well. And souffles, as you may know, are only good for about 2 or 3 minutes. The secret is obviously not to stir but to fold, so as to keep as much of the air as you possibly can. So I'm just going to pour the mixture into the ramekin, straighten it off with the palette knife, get rid of that. Now if I was to put that in the oven as is, it may stick to the side, so I'm just going to run my thumb all the way around and loosen the edge up, and that should be in order. Right, that's going to go in the oven at about 160 degrees for between 10 to 12 minutes. And there we have our banana souffle.